Welcome to another edition of Tech News of the Week. So, what's the main story this week? I think it's obvious. It's Twitter hack. Now, in case you are hiding under some bush somewhere and you don't know about it, some 130 high profile verified accounts were taken over by hackers. And those were really high profile. They were like world leaders like Barack Obama and Joe Biden. They were billionaires like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Jeff Bezos. They were celebrities like Kanye West, or Ye, as he is known, and even a media mogul like Michael Bloomberg. And also corporate handles like Apple and Uber. So if you see, the scope was something spectacular because it was literally the who's who of the global community. So what was it? I mean, on the face of it, it just seems like another Bitcoin scam. The all of them posted the same thing: you give me $1,000 and I'll give you back $2,000, and a few hundred people did fall for it. But I think that's just scratching at the surface. I mean, if you look at what happened, and if you look at the power of the thing that happened, and that seems like a very small thing. The hackers, they beat Twitter's two-factor authentication, and they took over Twitter's own admin tool. That means somebody who was an insider may have been involved. So I'll just give you an example of what I'm saying. On April 23rd, 2013, hackers took over the Twitter account of the Associated Press, which has 2 million followers at that time. And they tweeted that there have been explosions at the White House and Obama was injured. This is like 7 years ago. And the stock market crashed briefly, and $136 billion was wiped out from the stock market. Okay, and before people realized it's a fake tweet. So that was the power of one tweet and one account. And here 130 of the top accounts were taken over. So somehow a Bitcoin scandal does not seem the true picture, which we may never know. So if you look at a little behind the scenes, there are two things that are here. One is one word: data, right? We don't know what data has been taken. So like if you look at all these top shots, like they have direct messages. So they treat it like an email service. It's very popular. All the Twitter DMs, you interact with other like email services. So was all that data harvested? Do the hackers have the entire data of all these 130 people? It's not very clear, right? And the second one is even more sinister, and that I'd say is information warfare. Everything about data, is about information. And now if one fake tweet for a brief period of time could cause a loss of $136 billion, then what is the purpose of taking 130 accounts? I mean, was it a trial run for something? One definitely hopes not. I mean, just think of it in the future. I mean, if you take over 130 stock accounts, you could crash the global markets, and then you could buy at a low. And by the time people realize, then you made like billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And something more sinister than that is, what if you do it on the day of, say, the US elections or the Indian elections? Say early morning, on the day of the elections, if all 130 verified accounts tweet something against one person, wouldn't that swing the election in one favor? Then what will you do? Right? So I'm trying to say, on the face of it appears nothing. It just appears a Bitcoin scandal and a few $100,000 billion are lost. But what happened? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would say a lot of things. The thing about hacking and about all these things is we only see the tip of the iceberg. That's been ever since the internet came. What you see is only tip of the iceberg. What is submerged below, we don't have any idea. So anyway, let's hope that the hackers were stupid and they just did some Bitcoin scandal. Because if that's not the case, then I don't know, something more sinister could happen. But on a lighter note, Twitter they couldn't handle it, so they suspended all the verified accounts. I think it's 1 million in number. I'm not sure of the exact figure. So for a few hours, there were no verified accounts tweeting, and all the commoners ruled. And this also became a Twitter trend. So the second thing I'd say is Reliance. So we had the Reliance annual general meeting, and A lot of things were discussed. It was done by GeoMeet, and hundreds of thousands of people, they saw the virtual event. Reportedly, there were no snacks. But I'd say more than that is they have made one announcement of late, is that they said they can implement 5G within 1 year of the spectrums being allocated. This is big because till now 5G for the last few years has just been dragging on, and nobody really knows what's going on. But this is the first time a specific date has been put. I mean, Mukesh Ambani, who's like one of the richest people in the world, he has openly declared that you hold the auctions, you give us the spectrum, and we will implement it within 1 year. Now, that's also huge because 5G has been floundering all over the world. And China and Huawei were ready to implement 5G all over the world. Then the coronavirus happened, security scandals happened, and finally the China boycott ban has happened. So it's up for the grabs. Who is going to implement 5G in most places in the world? I don't know. Could it be Jio? What if the Indian government announces auctions in the next few months and we have 5G in 2021? Will that really mean that Jio could get a pie of slice in all over the world, because they already have 10, 12 global partners? I mean, we talk of make in India, but Jio is no longer made in India. Jio is made all over the world now, right? Everyone has a bite of Jio. And as I have said in my previous editions, it's not just about 5G is not about mobile phones. 5G will power smart cities and all the components: smart homes, smart factories, smart cars. So when we go to 5G, we are going to be in a different league altogether. Now, if we forget that these two big things happen, the week actually began with a bang. Google announced that they are investing $10 billion in India. They had a YouTube cast where Ravi Shankar Prasad, Sundar Pichai, all of them were involved. So they said they're going to invest 10 billion over the next few years. They're going to train 1 million teachers. And also they're going to have tie-ups with CBSE and Prasar Bharati. So that's huge. Then in other small news here and there, Coimbator's Ganga Medical Center and Hospital, they had their annual learning conference for surgeons, and they held it virtually by Microsoft Teams. 550 surgeons from 27 countries attended it, and they saw surgery taking place. So this could be also something new, because telemedicine, again, the concept has been around for donkey's years, but nobody really took the bull by the horns. And of course, there were a lot of legislative issues. But now the governments are like, they will try to push telemedicine. Then in other small news, in 2014, the Chinese app started ruling, and the Chinese app store would always beat the US one. And that's been the story for the last 5-6 years. But in the last quarter, for the first time ever, the US stores are back. The US app store has beaten the China app store one. So let's see whether this is temporary or it's permanent. And finally, maybe on a parting note, somebody has come out with a $40 prototype called Leaky Pick. It's an audio spy detector to check whether all your home assistants are spying on you, like Alexa and all. So, I mean, this is the way it's coming to. So anyway, thank you for your time, and see you next week.